I really think it's like finding the time for yourself, like the guilt and the time, right? And I always say time is just like an illusion thing. We all have time. It's whatever we prioritize and what we want to put forth. So, sometimes we make those excuses that we don't have enough time, but really we are scared, like the fear of success, fear of failure. So we're not taking that action. So it's easier for us to say that we don't have that time to do that. And there will be foolproof evidence as to why you can't do it, money, time, whatever, and stuff like that. Again, it's an excuse, right? And a lot of times it's the overwhelm.
Welcome to Radiant Mom Rising. Get ready to be inspired, empowered, and uplifted. I'm your host, Mary Dibble, and in each episode, we dive into amazing stories, insights, and conversations that help moms like you chase your dreams and embrace your worth. Let's rise and shine together. Hey, beautiful mamas. Welcome back to another episode of Radiant Mom Rising. If you've ever felt stuck in self-doubt, overwhelmed by your never-ending to-do list, or unsure if success is even possible for you, then today's episode is exactly what you need to hear. I am beyond excited to introduce you to Ashley Pakulski. She's a best-selling author, a dedicated coach for ambitious moms, and a single mama who has completely transformed her life from struggle to success. Ashley is the Mompreneur coach. Her journey began with overcoming significant personal challenges, which led her to explore self-help books and dive into self-discovery. Through this transformative process, focusing on reprogramming her subconscious mind and overcoming limiting beliefs, Ashley achieved profound changes in her life. Today, she guides ambitious mompreneurs to skyrocket to their next level of success, thriving in both life and business, in abundance and fulfillment. Through her transformational coaching, Ashley helps clients elevate their mindset, supercharge their routines, and magnetize aligned opportunities, inspiring them to achieve their greatest goals with confidence and clarity. Ashley is here to drop some serious wisdom on shifting your mindset, mastering time management, and using the power of manifestation to create the life and business you truly desire. In this conversation, we're diving into how to break free from subconscious beliefs that are keeping you stuck, the importance of investing in yourself because, mama, you are worth it, how simple shifts in your routine can create massive transformation, and why your story, yes, your story, has the power to inspire and heal others. So grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and get ready to soak up some game-changing insights. This is one you don't want to miss. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Radiant Mom Rising. I'm so excited to be talking today with our special guest, Ashley. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Hey, Mary, thank you so much for having me on. I'm so super excited.
I am too. We are on very similar path of helping moms and helping women today in this world. And so I'm excited to jump into your story. But first, how about you start off by introducing yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm a single mom here from Canada, fur baby mom too. Can't forget about Tony. And I'm the mompreneur coach and best-selling author. What I do is I guide ambitious mompreneurs to really skyrocket to their next level of success, not just in business, but in life as well, thriving in abundance and just living a fulfilled life.
I 100% resonate with that. I love it. It's a beautiful thing to be on a mission like that to help. There's so many moms out there who need us and who need that. And it's just waiting for them, right? And it's so nice to be able to support them through that journey. So tell us a little bit about your backstory of like what you've been through as a mom yourself, or even before that, that's led you down this path to help moms in the way you do.
Yeah, so my story, like anyone else's story, well, it's been like a roller coaster. So it really started in childhood where I experienced trauma, even leading into high school, experiencing trauma there. And we all have our sorts of trauma. I was sexually assaulted and molested. And, you know, it really piled up because I really didn't know how to heal through these things. I felt like ashamed of who I was, even being picked on a little here or there, like with friends too, being told by close family members that I'm nothing and all of that kind of thing. So having these stories instilled in me, these traumatic experiences instilled in me, I started reaching over to alcohol, which I thought was, and so did everyone else, like it's like a period of time in your life, you're
Yeah.
experimenting, and with that alcohol, it turned into drugs, and then it turned into like a little bit of out of control. I put myself in situations that I should have not been in. And then I had my daughter, and trying to be this amazing mom that everyone had this picture of who I should be, what I should do, and just try to make everyone else happy. So I decided to go to college, and there the stuff started going one foot in front of the other, but then the whole storm started coming out again. And I just there I found for myself that I really didn't want to work for someone, and there's something more to life. Like the things that I was doing, there's something more. And I had a late friend who would say the grass isn't always greener on the other side, but I always had this belief. And regardless of the things I've been through in life, I did feel that there was something better. And so I decided I did this program, and that I found it was like in my community, the government, they help you pay full time, and you get to write your own business plan and really do these networking events. And I'm like, oh, entrepreneurship. I'm like, that sounds good. I'm like, I always want to be my boss. I just didn't know what.
Yeah.
So I signed up for this program. Long story short, I go into this interview, and the lady is like, okay, so what is it that you want to do? Like, what's your business? And I'm like, oh, that's a freaking good question. And what's my business? Life coach was born. And I did community injustice. So I was doing co-op, and that's where I was intended of going, was counseling as well. There was other things I wanted to do, but after having my daughter, I thought that, this was the best route for me. And yeah, one thing led after another. I started signing on clients. What I found was clients were moms, and I'm like, oh, I'm a mom. And I was just like, oh, the Mompreneur coach was born. So it brought me to here today.
That is beautiful. And I'm so sorry, first of all, that you went through what you went through. It's a shame that that even has to happen as for children, but it does. Unfortunately, like I know I have my own experiences of starting sex at a very young age. I was only 13, so it's just sad that things like that come into our lives and happen and lead us down these paths of doing drugs. Like I became an addict as well. Like I feel like you're my soul sister right now. Like we're just hearing your story. It's like, oh
We
my
do have a
God,
lot of
we have a lot of common. I love, and it was again, we were talking about this before recording that it's crazy how we think it's just us, but that really there's so many people who understand and resonate with our stories, which is why it's so powerful to share your story to let people know they're not alone, even if obviously it's going to be different circumstances and experiences overall, but at the core of it, it's very similar. And we all
Mhm.
have our traumas, our experiences, and our things that we have to get through, our grief. And I admire you because you went down a different path. You chose to go down that different path, and look at the outcome of it. Look what led from it, and how much you get to help other moms now because of it. So I admire that about you and your story. And I'd love to hear a little bit too more about your experience as a mom entrepreneur yourself. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so that too is like a story of its own, because when we think like entrepreneurship, we think that we're just running businesses. And I was just talking about this in my weekly meetup I was just doing right now. And, that we think it's like you're making money and that's it. Like you're running a business and that's it, right? And you're just a successful person, but it's not. You are building yourself. You need to work through so many things in order to get to that next level success. So I thought I've worked through some things at times, and then next moment you see me crying, like, oh, where's this shit coming from? And I'm like, I thought I worked through this, or like, why did I react this way when I know I shouldn't be doing this? So you're really learning about yourself. You're healing, right? You're
Mhm.
peeling those layers, because we have a lot of subconscious programming since
Yes.
childhood. And sometimes it's not even intentionally from our family members, but we hear their stories, their problems, their survival moments. So it just like
Yes.
whiplashed me, like aha moment, thinking like, oh my gosh, I was a pain in the ass child a bit, which my dad said, no, you weren't that bad. And I'm like, oh, really? I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, like you
Let's
had
be
all
real.
the bringing me home. And I'm like, but sure, I was a good kid. But you know what? My heart was good. My heart was pure. My heart was good. And maybe my stuff that I was acting out wasn't whatever, but those were cries for help or signs, or like, you know what I mean?
Yes,
Wrong
complete.
place, wrong time. But long story short, like thinking about like my parents, like, they were raising me and they were going through their own stuff. So that's why they say things are like generational as well too. So you're doing a lot of healing. It could be very tiring. It could feel like that you're sometimes not making progress, but you are. I have a coach and she's helping me through this side by side business and mindset coach. Same thing that I do, right? But we have to invest in ourselves and our healing. And that's what's been helping me rather than sitting in front of a psychologist or counselor, really getting to the root cause and really doing that inner mindset work.
Yeah.
That was a whole game changer. So I implement that into my day to day, running a business, being a mom, and like it's been my rock.
Oh yeah, I bet so. And I agree with that completely because the investing in ourselves and doing the work for us is how we will eventually show up in our own businesses, in our own lives
Mm-hmm.
for not outside of even business. And that is so crucial to really attracting the outcomes. And whether it's good or bad. I mean, that for me too, I had the same thing when I learned about the subconscious programming and how that comes even whether you wanted it there or not. Like that was such a powerful transformation for me because I was like, holy crap, I'm like causing my own suffering. Like what?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm causing my own reality. I'm causing my own struggles. Like, okay. And so knowing that, and I love what you said earlier about how like you would even catch yourself like, why am I behaving this way when I know better? Right. To me,
Mm-hmm.
that's something right there. Show yourself a little compassion and celebration for that because the fact that you're even aware of
Mm-hmm.
that is so huge because if you're not aware of these behaviors and these beliefs and these things that are keeping you from living the life you want, then you'll never be able to change it. You'll keep living on autopilot. You'll keep attracting all the same things. And this is why even just those small victories of just recognizing, ah, crap, I did it again. It's like that's powerful more than you realize, especially when you not only recognize it, but then choose to be like, okay, I'm going to redo this, or I'm going to, I'm going to go apologize or take responsibility for it this time. I'm going to choose to be a little different this time about how I keep responding or how I keep acting towards this or feeling this way. It's just awesome, right? To see transformations and to help clients. So I always, of course, would love to know through your experiences of people you've worked with and moms and things like that, what is some of the things that you would help as far as giving advice, some tips for anyone who's listening who just would love a jump start towards changing their lives like that?
Yeah. So one thing that really helped me, and this is, I think, where we connected to when we shared a little bit about what I do kind of thing, and is morning routines. Like I really legit thought that I invented something, and then I started searching it up, and I'm like, oh, Oprah's doing it, Jim Carrey, all these billionaires, multimillionaires, and this really started helping me how I was being intentional with my time, with how I responded versus reacting, how I showed up as a mother. And this was my sacred time. And I still follow it till this day. And sometimes it could be an hour-long routine. Sometimes it could be 10 minutes. Sometimes it could be 5 minutes. Sometimes I skip a day, but I do it in the nighttime. Or I make sure in the afternoon I'm doing some breath work so someone doesn't piss me off. But but it's so important because you're making that time for yourself. You're putting yourself first and having these routines. It's actually your one-stop shop, I find, for that inner mindset work, right? Because it depends what you're putting in there, but what works for one may not work for the other. So it's finding out what works for you. And honestly, it's been game changing. Again, it's like reinforcing those different actions, those habits, so then you become more productive. You have that confidence in yourself. You're taking different action. So it's like really, truly fueling yourself, your growth. So taking that time for yourself, because like I mentioned, it's not the strategy itself that you're doing, the business entrepreneurship. Like I always use this analogy, and there's the gold platter. It's right here. And there's client A, client B. Client A, she is killing it. She's following this strategy. She's doing everything. She's signing on the clients. She's like multiplying her income. And she only has like 150 followers or something, right? It doesn't even matter the followers. But then there's this client here, and she has like probably like 1,000, 2,000, let's say 5,000 followers. And she's doing all the things. And it really doesn't matter about the followers again, but like she's struggling and she feels like she's going to throw in the towel. She's getting frustrated. She's like, why isn't this not working for me? And it's not the strategy itself. What is it? It's internally. It's internally your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, all of that stuff. So these morning routines help you with that to really build that success. So that's what I always say, like routines to success.
I love that. No, you're right. And I mean, I hear it and I learned it too through my journey as well.
Mhm.
And like you say, you can look at the evidence because almost all the most successful people in this world do this, the morning rituals
Yeah.
and the morning routines. It is a very powerful way because, like you say, intention. It's also about working to get out of autopilot because you're starting to become more and more mindful and choosing and commanding your brain of I'm going to do this now. I'm going to
Yeah.
do this, and you're bringing that awareness. And I love that you were honest about the fact that it's not always easy to be exactly the same thing every day, and that's where the grace comes in, a compassion. But still, just do what you can, even if it is 5 or 10 minutes that you give yourself to meditate, to do breath work, to do affirmations, to just stay grounded and prepare yourself
Mhm.
for what's to come. Or, like you say, if you get a crazy morning where unexpected stuff happens and your kids are waking up throwing up or
Yeah.
something, and it's like, oh no, it's just completely different. Still take that time, even in the afternoon, when you recognize, okay, I'm gonna take some time right now for me to journal, to do my things that I have to do that I may have skipped this morning. I think that we put so much pressure on ourselves all the time that it
Mhm.
has to be exactly this, and that. And I feel like if we can just allow ourselves a little bit of a grace, flexibility, but discipline of just doing it
Mhm.
anyway. So I think that's the thing. It's like I have a talk coming up where I'm going to be talking about embracing the inner child while learning to self-parent because
Mhm.
it's so true. Like we need to bring that creativity out of us, our inner child, that childlikeness of us, but we also need to learn how to be a parent to it ourselves and actually teach ourselves, to be structured, to actually follow through with our goals. And and it's such a powerful movement and what we can do for ourselves to actually reach the goals that we set forth. And again,
Mhm.
going back to what you were saying about the different clients, I love that because we don't realize how much we hurt our own businesses and our own selves by just the way we show up, the energy, whether it's desperation, whether it's lack, whether it's coming in, showing up with doubt. People feel that. And it's
Mhm.
unfortunate because you could live. That's why with programs, I say be careful because a lot of them will try to tell you that it's like a one size fits all. You do all these things, you're going to make 10K in 90 days. And it's not that it's not possible, but if you don't have the right mindset, if you're not willing to
Mhm.
put in the work for yourself, and not a lot of these programs don't even go over that, right? They literally are all about like post this, do this, talk about this,
Yep.
find your whatever. And don't get me wrong, that stuff's not, it's not that it's not important, but it's like, who are you when you're doing this? Like, who are
Mhm.
you showing up as? What is your energy like? What are your beliefs like? Because if you come without that, it don't matter what you say, what you put out there. Unfortunately, you're just not going to attract it. And don't get me wrong, I've been there because I was there too.
Yep.
I did all these programs and was told do this, do
Mhm.
that, and I did all the things, but I also was like kind of like confused and like didn't really believe in myself yet. And
Yep.
I saw it where nobody showed up, nobody did anything. And so, it's so wonderful when you take that time to really work on you and reflect. And also, for me, I don't know about you, I love having fun with things. I've learned to just have fun and enjoy my now and not have that pressure of like, I have to have this, and that in order to feel good, in order to feel successful. I am successful where I'm at,
Mhm.
no matter what my bank account looks like or what my schedule looks like. I'm successful here and now, and I know I'm going to be her, the one that I envision in the future. I am her. I'm here now,
Yeah.
and I'm working on, showing up as her each and every day and trusting that God will bring in the right people when the time comes. And I'll be ready for them,
100%. No,
right?
that is beautiful. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
so true because there's so many things out there, and that's what I noticed with me too. I've invested in myself so much,
Yeah.
and and it's not that like true. Like it's not that the program wasn't for me because I've learned something,
Oh
right?
yeah.
A lot of things I've learned, but it's true. It's the basic stuff, and a lot of people say, "Oh, I got the mindset on point," or still struggling, figuring out why they're at where they're at and not realizing the importance of this. And a lot of
Yeah.
people think, oh, it's just fluff. It's not fluff. And
No.
and I had family members tell me too, like, oh, you think everything just falls into your lap, or you think it's a like fluff or whatever kind of thing. But once I started tapping into this and things just started miraculously like working out for me and falling into my lap, they
It's
can't say nothing. They're
exactly.
just like, yeah, I know you're right, Ashley.
Of
So,
course, yes,
so it's a
yeah.
beautiful thing. Like it makes me happy because then like I'm doing the improvements on myself. I believe in myself, the confidence, but it's ripple affecting to people close to me, to clients, and everywhere around kind of thing, right? So
Oh, that's my favorite part is the ripple effect. I've seen how it's affected my mom, who's grown up
Hmm.
with the most negative mindset, not no fault to her own. I mean, it was her
Yeah.
upbringing and stuff, but for someone who grew up like she did, it was fantastic in the ways that she still took action opposite of like how she was treated. And
Hmm.
she did her best to show up in a different way for us, but unfortunately, that, like you say, that we don't realize, you don't know what you don't know, and that
Yeah.
negativity of generational stuff followed her and bled on to me and my sister. But however, again, we're working to notice that, and
We're
there's so much.
stopping it.
Yeah, exactly, we're stopping that. And
We're
not just
stopping
that,
it.
it's like we're so blessed in today's world because we
Hmm.
have the resources, we have the coaching, we have so much right here in front of us that can help us. And so we're not burdened to feel alone on our journeys.
Hmm.
And that's the thing, a lot of our parents and grandparents, they didn't have that. They didn't have the community, they didn't have anyone to turn to, but we do. So who are we not to take advantage of that? Who are we not to embrace that and get the help that we need so that we do live fulfilling, thriving lives? Because by God, we deserve it. We
Yeah,
all deserve it, and it's waiting
we
for us.
do.
Yeah. I really admire this work. It's one of my favorite paths that I've taken. I'm so thankful that I took it because I was like
Mhm.
you. I was so done, and I done working for other people, because anyone in the workforce knows, like, you're underappreciated, always mostly underpaid, and it's exhausting to try to kill yourself so that other people are
Mhm.
rich, so that other people
Yeah.
live better. And it's just got to a point where it's like, I'm ready for more. I've always believed the same thing, no matter what I've been through, is that I know that I'm meant for more. I know I'm meant for
Yeah.
more. I don't know what quite that is, but I know I am. And this is what living life is about, is going out there and opening yourself up to try
Mhm.
things, to experience things, to see where it takes you. And I think it's beautiful that you've been able to manifest and attract the things for yourself. That's always a beautiful way to go. Is there any other experiences you've had working with moms that you find is a struggle that that you would like to reflect on or speak to moms who are listening right now?
Yeah, I really think it's like finding the time for yourself, like the guilt and the time, right? And I always say time is just like an illusion thing. We all have time. It's whatever we prioritize and what
Yeah.
we want to put forth. So, sometimes we make those excuses that we don't have enough time, but really we are scared, like the fear of success, fear of failure. So we're not taking that action. So it's easier for us to say that we don't have that time to do that. And there will be foolproof evidence as to why you can do it, money, time, whatever, and stuff like that. Again, it's an excuse, right? And a lot of times it's the overwhelm with it, and working with clients and really helping them see their worth, overcoming their limiting beliefs, and identifying where these programs came from, and like reinforcing them into the truth. Because I always like to call them little lies. And they're little lies, because that's
Nice.
all they are. They're
Yeah,
little lies that we
they are.
tell ourselves, and we self-sabotage ourselves in so many ways. And again, we use that whole time factor. There's not enough time. We're tired, right? We're putting our focus and energy on things that seem easy to us, right? And it's normal. Like, you know what I mean? There's
Oh yeah.
like, trust me, like, even where I'm working towards now, like, I still have a lot of work. Like, there's things that I'm working on myself still, and seeing huge major improvements as
Yeah,
well. But, it didn't take me just waving a magic wand
I
and
know.
there you go. Like, right? I'm human. I make mistakes sometimes. And there's days like I just say, you know what, screw this. I'm having just time for myself. But the
Yeah,
point of that, make time for yourself and have fun. Like how you said, have fun with it. There's no point of stressing. I'm
yeah,
done stressing. And I try to teach this to my clients, because end of the day, when you're stressing, you have that lack, you have that scarcity, and guess what you're doing? You're bringing more of that. So I want to share a quick little story. Okay. I made a post about this. So where I live, you can hear the coyotes, and I always see the coyotes. Even in the daytime, I was seeing them. And I would tell people, like, watch out, like, whatever, I'm not going down there because the coyotes, and I have my dog. And everyone would be like, oh, it's only just you that sees these coyotes. And I'm like, no, man, I'm like, I'm serious, right? So long story short, I'm walking a couple days ago with my dog. It was in the morning, and I'm in the streets. Like, there's no like ravine or anything. It was like further down. And I'm walking, and I turn around because I hear this galloping, and I look, and I'm like, here I am with my dog, and the coyote right here
oh,
running past. Didn't pay attention to me. I froze. I made sure not to move. I thank God my dog didn't even move or whatever, bark or anything. I was like, oh, good boy.
Yeah.
But I froze. But everyone started joking after I started saying that, you attracted it. I'm like, you're absolutely freaking right. I'm like, I didn't intentionally want to. I'm like, but the fear, or like even like thinking like, what would I do if I encounter one or what? Like, you know what I mean? Luckily it was one, and luckily I didn't pay attention. But what I'm trying to say is like where we put our focus and attention to. So it's like,
Mm.
what are your words that you are using? Are you using words like I'm broke? Are you using like I'm stressed? I don't have enough time? That's what you're going to put into fruition. How's your body feeling? How's your energy feeling, right? If you want those things that you want, you need to become an energetic match to it. And I know this is a little off topic too, but like I believe in God, and I'm spiritual, religious, and and without God I would have nothing, right? And manifesting, it's on the internet, and people start saying, well, that's like the devil's work, that word, whatever. And I'm like, that's bullshit. I'm like, because if you go into the Bible, and if you think it's the same thing, I'm like, it's just different words people are using because people have different views on different whatever, but it's the same thing, right? And you really have to tune into yourself. Like if you really want that life, you can have it. No one needs to be struggling. No one needs to be broke. They don't teach you this stuff because we are conditioned in a society to be like this, whatever, little muppets, right?
Yep. Yep.
But where do you think the true freedom is? When you have your own. But what are we taught? That it's hard. It's
Mm.
scary. It's impossible. You can't do it. How are you going to do it? That person just had luck.
Yeah.
So it's really working through those things
Yeah.
and making time for yourself, for your business, even if it's 5-10 minutes a day. I don't care. Get yourself in that repetitive, but also work on your mindset. That is the most powerful thing ever.
Hey, Mama. I know what it's like to feel like you're just going through the motions, showing up for everyone else, but wondering, what about me? You have dreams, you have a purpose, and I truly believe you're meant for more than just surviving the day. That's why I'm offering something really special, a free Radiant Mom breakthrough session with me. This is just a heart-centered conversation where we get to the root of what's been keeping you stuck and help you find real clarity on your next steps. And if by the end of our time together, we both feel like I can support you further on this journey, we can talk about that, but no pressure, no expectations. My goal is for you to walk away with a renewed sense of direction and confidence to take action now. So, if you're ready to shift things in your life, go grab your free session using the calendar link in the show notes before spots fill up. I'd love to connect with you. All right. Now let's get back to the show. It truly is. Your story was amazing because it is so true. What you focus on, you attract. And I've heard it. And it's funny that you brought up the whole manifestation, like people saying it's the devil thing. I recently had somebody who's struggling with her going back to her religion with
Mhm.
Christianity and hearing that, and someone's trying to tell her that too. And I'm like, I don't, I almost feel like that is almost like the devil's way of trying to discourage people to
Does
believe
God want
that
people
they,
to live in fear?
thank you.
God doesn't want people to live in fear.
I know, which is one of the reasons why I've never been big on the religion side of things. I mean, like, or the intense religious side of things, because I do
Yeah.
believe in God. I'm very spiritual as well, but my relationship with God is very personal and very like down. Like, if he loves me, then he's gonna meet me where I'm at, right? And he always
Yeah.
has met me where I'm at. He's always loved me from where I'm at. But I just like to be real about who I am, and I love that because he's like one of the. I feel like I can be that. I can't hide.
Mhm.
He
Yeah, I
knows.
talk to
He
him
knows exactly.
every day.
Exactly.
You have that
So
relationship.
exactly, yeah. And so I just love that you brought that up because what came to my mind when you were saying that was just like maybe that is the devil's way of trying to again confuse and distract people from believing
Yeah.
in their own power within, because that's really what manifestation is just teaching, is that you have the
Yeah.
power within you, which if you believe in God, he is part of you, he is within you,
Yeah.
and he is always trying to help you and show you the ways. It's still up to you though to do anything about it. See, that's the thing
Mhm.
people don't want to take accountability, responsibility
Mhm.
for. It's like you can have all the answers right in front of you, but it's still at the end of the day your choice to walk that path or to deny it. And he can
Yeah.
that is where the free will comes in. And so, it's be careful of that because society does put this like confusion and all these
Mm-hmm.
things. And if you are somebody who believes in God, then you probably believe in the devil, then you have to realize he's going to be right there too, tempting
Yeah.
you. And part of that, our bad thoughts and negative thoughts that come in is that it's them trying to
Yeah.
keep us where we are. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're not happy with that, then the only way to get past that is just no longer listen to those voices and
Yeah.
choose to create new ones that empower
Mm-hmm.
you, inspire you, uplift you. Because without that, without changing the way you believe, and also I know for a lot of people, they're like, well, how do you believe something that's not there yet? And
There is a higher, yeah.
yeah, and what would you say to that? Because I hear that too a lot. Is that,
So
well, it's
I
hard
hear
to
that a
believe.
lot too. And
Yeah,
like I'm an AA as well and everything. And honestly, when people say that first, and I don't say this to them because I respect where people are at,
yeah,
but my question is, what has hurt them in their life for them to not really truly believe that, right? Like what is it that brought, like, you know what I mean? Someone has a reason, someone has a story, maybe like a family, who knows, right? And they're not guilty of that, right? That's
yeah,
their story, their pain, their thing. And it depends where they're at, right? But there is a higher power out there. There's no matter what, there's a higher force, higher power, which I believe to call God, that's out there. And I've been in so many situations in my life that it wasn't luck, right? I like people say like you're like a cat nine lives. Like I'm so blessed to be alive. Or even my mom, like, doctors saying that she wasn't gonna make it and and she made it. And then there's people that say, well, I pray, my prayers don't get answered. But God has a story for each and one of us, a path, I should say, and it's how we choose to believe. But you just have to believe, right? And I say this to people too, like believe in something. Start believing in something. Start like, you know, asking, and here's this quick story with me. Like my mom at a young age, she was bringing me to church and stuff like that. I'm baptized, all of that. And then I started kind of drifting away. And then I started questioning and I started saying, like, how do we know if we really go to heaven? Like, how do we know there's really a heaven? Right. And when I started questioning that, I started asking God. I'm like, like I don't pray all the time, whatever, but like, like how do I know? And it was a fear that I had. Do you know I started getting people coming my way or watching a movie or hearing people's stories who actually passed away and saw heaven and came back. Even my apartment. Like I remember living in a basement apartment where there was mice in there and I was so disgusted. And I was like terrified of them. But like, and I prayed and I said, Lord, I don't go to church all the time. Can you please find me an apartment? Like bring me like something that I can afford, dark cupboards, dark floors. And guess what? I got that right by a church. Like, you know what I
wow,
mean?
wow,
And there's so many situations in my life where like I don't even know how things are going to work out or happen, or if there's something that I'm struggling with. And I'm just like, Lord, I put this into your hands. I'm like, I can't deal with this right. And guess what?
it works out.
It works out.
Yeah,
Like for myself, I started going to church every morning. I go Sundays as much as I can. But for myself, for mornings, I like to start my day like that as much as I can too, because it fuels me,
yeah,
right? A lot of times people say, well, I don't need to go to mass. And I'm like, no, you don't need to, but where are you getting the teachings from? You know what I mean? Like you need to get the teachings from some, and yes, I know people have, I know this is probably like off topic, whatever, but there's people that do have experiences like, oh, but some priests are bad, they do this or that, whatever. You're not going to the church for the priest. The priest is here. He's supposed to be following God, right? But he's human. So, you know what I mean? Like, we can't control that, but we come for the message, right? And that's what it is. It's where are you getting your message from? And, it's just opening your door. Like, just ask for guidance. Like, like wherever you are at, whatever you're struggling with, start asking for guidance. And you're going to see like help is going to come. And even with AA, like we don't force people
yeah,
into believing, but we asked for you to believe in a higher power because there's something out there. You cannot control your life alone,
yeah.
right? And you can maybe for a little bit, but somewhere down the line, it's going to fall apart. You can't run the show by yourself. You
Yeah.
cannot hold the steering wheel by yourself.
Well,
There's someone they're guiding and directing.
exactly. And I mean, as humans, we were not created to be up alone. We were meant to be
Hmm.
connected, which is what we're supposed to be doing. And so it's so sad to see a lot of the diversity that happens over, politics, religion, things like
Yeah.
that. It's sad,
That's the
but
devil.
it is. It really is. And it's something I'm really trying to, bring more light to, as far as like helping people like get past their differences and just really be close and allow ourselves to learn. But what you said about the influence and about getting the message, like that is such a outside of, let's say if you're listening and you're not big on religion, I just want to put it out there of like understanding that what you expose yourself to, you will eventually believe and attract. So it's a
Hmm.
matter of like what are you allowing in your world? Like what kind of people,
Hmm.
what kind of podcasts, what kind of music, what kind of books, what kind of stuff are you putting into yourself? Because that is going to affect who you are and who what you attract. And so, that is a greater message what you're saying in that aspect, and you can look at it like that for those of you who may not be in the that's part as far as your beliefs go. So it is so important what we put into ourselves, even
Yeah.
our foods, mental, all of it all
Yeah.
correlates
Spiritual,
together.
everything.
Exactly. And so it's like, I don't know about you guys, but I know I'm ready to embrace who I'm meant to be, my best version of myself, not just
Hmm.
for me, but also for my kids. Like I want them
Yeah.
to be their best. I want them to love themselves. If I had known what self-love meant and what
Hmm.
self-acceptance meant when I was a kid, if I grew up knowing that I was amazing just the way I was and loving who I was, I don't think I would have ever fallen into the drug world and things like that, because I would have had the confidence.
100%.
I'd have had that security in myself of knowing. And so that's my goal, is to do my best to have that, not just for myself, because I'm the role model. And plus, I want it, but also to that, like you say, that ripple effect. I want my kids to feel confident. I want my
Hmm.
kids to be solid in who they are. I don't want them being influenced by the wrong people and being
Yeah.
told for someone to show up and tell them who they should be. Because that's what's going to
Exactly.
happen if you don't decide for yourself who you're going to be. The world's going to tell you who you're going to be, and that's not
Hmm.
pretty always. I mean, a lot of times it's not. And even like a lot of celebrities that you see out there, you think they're so happy. They're crazy. Look at what's going on with P. Diddy and them. There's
Yeah.
such craziness has happened. They don't even know. Those people don't even know what it's like to live in the real world. First of all, they
Oh,
are so consumed in
100.
their own little bubbles. That's not even people you should be looking towards for success.
Yeah.
Success means something different for everybody else.
It's a
What does
happiness within.
it is? What, and that's what you asked yourself. What does success look like for me? For me,
Hmm.
it's being able to live life with my family and on my terms. Like being able to
Hmm.
have the freedom to enjoy my family in the way that I feel like this world has deprived so many people of doing. That is my
Hmm.
ultimate thing. I feel like that when I have a life where we get to, go on vacations or just enjoy each other's company, have the free time. The other day, me and my husband, it was like one something in the day, and we're just caught up with things. And it was nice to randomly just have this time to sit together and just enjoy each other's company. And I'm like, we don't get this on our, most of the time is work, work, work. And got to go pick up this
Hmm.
kid, got to do this. And it's
Yeah.
like when you get to a place where you're allowed to have those times where you just get to almost do nothing, do whatever you want. Like it's like those precious moments to really embrace your time with your kids and enjoy their time. I love that I'm in a place right now where I get to go pick up my kid from school. I get to be
Hmm.
home with my kids. I get to work from home and be there. I didn't have that experience with my firstborn. So it's finding those little moments and those precious things and understanding the underlying why you're
Hmm.
doing what you're doing. It's really going to help you find the answers and take the steps, I hope, to
Yeah.
really make that change. Because at the end of the day, ultimately, like you say, we can give you all the answers. We can sit here and share our experiences, what we're doing,
Hmm.
but it ultimately boils down to, what are you going to do? What steps
Yeah.
are you going to take? What are you willing to change or do or embrace so that you can see different results for yourself if you're not happy
Yeah.
where you're at?
And you know what? One thing I would like to add, that
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be hard. We make it so difficult for ourselves.
Don't we though? Don't we though? We always overcomplicate, because you know why? Because of that initial, we're taught that you have to work hard in order to have what you
Yeah,
want.
yeah,
That alone
yeah.
has really messed with us, and we've internalized it in a way that when it feels easy or it feels simple, we're like, nah,
Hmm.
nah, nah, nah.
Yep.
This can't be right. This can't be right. Cannot be this easy. So yeah, it is. That is very, very true, and something I love that you brought attention to, because it is important to realize. Yeah, sometimes it is simple.
Mhm.
Like even in the healthcare world right now, you hear this talk about everyone saying, "Let's get back to the basics." Like we've gotten to this, world where there's so much preservatives and
Oh
hormones
my
and stuff
gosh,
being pumped into
yeah.
our bodies, and that we don't realize that that's what's causing all these chronic illnesses that
Yeah,
are at a crazy high right now. It's like, again,
100%.
going back to the basics. How much water are you drinking?
Hmm.
What kind of stuff are you putting into your bodies? And even like exercise, like sometimes people feel like you don't have to go spend hours at a gym. You can take 10, 15 minutes of just being mobile and doing little something when you can. That makes such a difference in your longevity of
100%.
what you're going to deal with when you get older. So it's like,
Yeah.
again, with even your mental health, it's these little steps, if you're willing to put it together and
Hmm.
do something each and every day that's going to help pour into that, you will see the results just
Yeah.
like we're talking
It
about.
will
So
ripple effect. And like even
absolutely.
to like how you mentioned like mental health, these are the exact things that help. Like
Mhm.
they think of labels to
Yeah.
medicate, right? And I know
Yes.
sometimes people need medication, whatever, stuff like that, but that's the band-aid, right? Even I
Mhm.
was seeing with holistic psychologists, like I'm more like I would say experienced with like the depression, all of that. I tried the antidepressants,
Oh, yeah.
like I couldn't, right? It
Oh, yeah.
was like
It
I
made me
remember going to
crazier.
the yeah, I did. I
It
called
made
the
me,
doctor crying, saying
yes.
there's something wrong with me. Like I feel, and she's like, "Oh, come to me," and she upped my dose, and I was like, "Fuck
That,
this," and
yes.
I threw it in the garbage, and it took me a while, but like you know what I mean. But like
Yep.
I healed. I healed
Yes.
naturally.
Me
And,
too.
and I read holistic psychologist. She was writing something about bipolar. And, I didn't realize, like, I'm not too familiar with bipolar, but then I started really reading into it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so true. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's stuff from childhood, any
Yeah.
mental health illness, all that stuff. It's from childhood. It's the pain that you have, the traumas, being able to deal with it and self-regulate and all that stuff, having those tools. And that's why morning routines are so key.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
you know what I
yes,
mean? But
exactly. And
taking care.
it's also making that decision that I'm willing to face this. I'm
Yeah.
willing to heal this. I'm willing
Hmm.
to do what it takes so that I don't have to keep living this way and keep having these behaviors that I don't like, this
And you're
feelings
not
that I don't
weak.
like. Yeah, exactly. You're not weak. Actually, you're so strong if you
Mhm.
decide that you want to make the change and then you put yourself out there to find the help that you need. That is
Yeah.
strength. That is where your
Yeah.
resilience is coming in, and that's where your changes are going to happen. It doesn't happen by
100%.
just thinking. It happens by action. And that's why we're here for you. We're here to support you because it's not an easy venture to do.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be easy, but it also could be simple. Like we have ways to simplify it that makes it doable, because I think
Hmm.
that's the problem, is that we think that it's got to be this extravagant change, this extravagant things, and that's so discouraging in
And you're
itself.
waiting for it
Yeah,
like
yeah.
instant. Like, where is it?
Yes, and you want it now. Like I want to just go to sleep and just be the new version of me, or have my successful business overnight. And it just doesn't always work that way. And I think the sooner we find our ways to be okay with where we are.
Hmm.
And that's what I loved about working with clients, because we get to meet you where you are. And first of all, we were there where you are. So we completely understand. And it's
Hmm.
even more reason why we're so motivated to help you get to the other side and find your
Yeah.
way through that. But we have to find your way. Because what
Yeah.
my way was is not going to be your way. And that is what is so unique about this journey and about our lives and about being human,
Yeah.
and it's like let's find what works for you, and let's do what you need to do so that you create that life that you deserve,
Yeah.
that you deserve. And I would love to know too, before we end here, if anyone's listening and they're like, I would love to work with Ashley, I'd love to learn more about her. Tell us a little bit about where they can find you and what like kind of programs that you have available at this time.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
can find me on Facebook. I have a Facebook community, the Mompreneurs. Wait, the next level of success for Mompreneurs. And also on Instagram at the Ashley Pakulski and Facebook, Ashley Pakulski. And I have two programs right now. I'm working on other projects on the side, but that will be releasing next year or
Okay.
sooner. But right now, currently, I have a 3-month Elevate coaching program that's a one-on-one. This is where like we deep dive, we expand the mindset, we really dive so deep to reprogram, rewire, but also it has to help you with creating your own successful routine, to help you to take those different actions and show up as your higher version self. Be her now, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what it is, right? If you want different, you got to do different. So we work through that. And we also create your simplified strategies to attract your dream clients, but also your life goals, whatever it is that you want to achieve. And again, each person is different, how you're saying. And that's where it's the fun part. We custom tailor the plan just for you, right?
Mhm.
And then there's the 4-week program. I don't like to say success sprint, but I really like it because it's a fast track program. Like you have this roadmap at the end of the 4 weeks, but you get to use this all the time, right? So this is like your roadmap to success that you can use, rinse on repeat. And again, too, we go through the reprogramming and you have the tools and you walk away with these tools. So you have that by your side kind of thing.
Yes. And I admire that because I want people to understand too, like these short-term programs, they're so in depth of what we go into and they're so important for your growth. But what's so
Mhm.
cool about having that is that you're not going to be the same person you
Yeah,
were when you got started. 6 months
100%.
down the road and a year down the road. So with these things, always allow yourself to reflect back and re-review as you grow into a new person. Because that's the thing people think it's like, oh, after this, I'm supposed to just have all the answers. I'm supposed to be there. No, it's not about that. It's like you say, having that roadmap that you can now take with you throughout your
Mhm.
life as you grow, as you change, as you evolve, and then reapply it in the new versions of yourself and the versions of your business, and you will see that you will customize, you'll tweak, you'll change things up, but at the same time, ultimately it's still a great way to structure things, a great way for you to reflect back on, learn from, grow with. So it's awesome, Ashley. I'm so excited for you and I love what you're doing. It's beautiful. We need more people like you out there. So I always open the floor as well. Is there any final thoughts or a piece of advice that you'd like to share before we end here?
I would say, well, first I want to thank you so much for having me on. This was amazing.
So glad.
You are so awesome, by the way, like
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank
Yeah, no, I would say just go for it. Whatever it is that you want to do, you know, deep inside what you want to do, that goal that you want to hit, that that habit that you want to break. You're feeling it, right? And you're stopping yourself for a reason because of the fear, because you don't know of the unknown, I should say too, right? So you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know the how, right? It's just taking that one step forward. Just take that one step forward, whatever it is. Write everything out on a piece of paper, brain dump, whatever it is, simplify it because your brain likes simplicity. So if you're going to write paragraphs as to step by step what you need to do, forget about it. Like just really simplify it, right? Like even for example, let's just say this is like a business thing that you want to do. Like you have your master class, let's say. So have your lead post, right? Written out what you're going to use, the color block post, I would like to say 100, 150 characters, and have your comment written out with the link. And all you're doing is copying, pasting, right? And just have your step-by-step plan written out, whatever it is, so it's easier for you to do, because then you're going to actually do it rather than overwhelm yourself, and then your brain's going to find all the excuses, like you got to do the dishes, or you got to walk the dog, or now's not the right time because you just don't have enough time, but really you do, because you could have used that 15 minutes
Yeah.
to do what you got to do. So yeah, just simplify it and go one step at a time forward. You got this.
Oh, love it. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today, Ashley. This has been
Thank
a
you.
wonderful conversation. I am excited to share it with the world.
Well, thank you so much.
Such a powerful and fun talk with Ashley. Here are the key takeaways from today's episode. Your past doesn't define you. No matter what childhood trauma or self-doubt you face, you have the power to rewrite your story and step into the life you desire. Success starts with your mindset. Your beliefs shape your reality. Shifting your mindset and overcoming subconscious blocks will help you build confidence and achieve your goals. You are worthy of investing in yourself. Whether it's time, education, or personal growth, prioritizing yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary for both your personal and professional success. Your morning routine sets the tone for your day. Creating intentional habits in the morning can boost your productivity, energy, and mindset, helping you show up as your best self. Time management is your superpower. Simplifying tasks, setting boundaries, and creating supportive routines will help you avoid burnout and make real progress toward your dreams. Your story has power. By sharing your journey, you not only heal yourself, but also inspire and uplift others who may be going through similar struggles. Spirituality and manifestation can work for you. Aligning your energy with your desires, practicing gratitude, and trusting the process can bring more opportunities and abundance into your life. You don't have to do it alone. Seeking support, surrounding yourself with a like-minded community, and working with mentors or coaches can accelerate your growth and success. Be sure to follow Ashley on Instagram to learn more about how she can support you on your journey at the Ashley Pakulski, and that is ASHLEYPAKULSKI. Also, be sure to visit me at marydibblecoaching.com to grab your free guide, Busy Mom Roadmap to Clarity and Confidence, to get started on your empowering journey today. Lastly, please share this episode with your fellow mom friends and leave us a review. We love to hear from you and appreciate your support. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Until next time, much love.